Being set apart by God doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you've been marked, targeted, and pulled out of the ordinary for something holy. And that calling comes with a cost most people never see. You felt it, haven't you? That strange tension of not fitting in, even in spaces where you should belong. Because when God sets you apart, He removes your comfort to reveal your calling, and nothing about it is random. Jeremiah 1:5 says He knew you before you were formed, which means your separation began before your birth. That rejection you keep wrestling with, it wasn't an accident, it was a filter. God used it to sever soul ties that were silently stifling your growth. The reason some relationships fall apart so suddenly is because spiritual elevation demands emotional pruning. And He will not allow the people who feed your weakness to walk into your next season. What most won't tell you is that being chosen doesn't feel like glory. It feels like isolation, like being the only one who sees the fire when everyone else is playing with matches. And the reason you've been misunderstood your whole life is because you carry revelation others aren't ready to receive. There are hidden wars you fight in private because what's on your life threatens what's hiding in theirs. And even Jesus, perfect and blameless, was rejected in His hometown, not because of who He wasn't, but because of what they couldn't see. Mark 6:4. Being set apart means you'll be asked to walk away from what others run toward. And you will be called to love people who don't have the capacity to love you back. It means living with a spiritual sensitivity that others mock as too deep, when in reality, you're just tuned into frequencies they've ignored for so long that conviction now feels offensive. God hides you not to punish you, but to protect what's still developing. Just like Moses had to be hidden in the reeds before he could ever stand before Pharaoh, your hiding season is God's mercy in disguise. And don't be surprised if your life feels like constant warfare. Hell doesn't attack what doesn't threaten its agenda. If your mind has been a battlefield lately, it's not a sign that God's far. It's proof you're getting close. The enemy wants you to confuse silence with absence. But Isaiah 30:15 says, your strength is in quietness and trust, which means God does His best work in hidden places. Set apart doesn't mean spotlight. It means sacrifice, and what others call doing too much is often obedience in disguise. God will test your loyalty in obscurity before He ever gives you visibility. Because if you need applause to move, you're not ready for assignment. Don't be shocked if old patterns suddenly disgust you. It's a sign your spirit is detoxing from what your flesh once craved. Holiness isn't a list of rules. It's a posture of surrender, a constant dying to self so that Christ can live through you. Galatians 2:20. The shift you're feeling, the discomfort, the divine restlessness, is God stretching your spirit to fit the next dimension He's calling you into. And no, not everyone will come with you, and that's okay. Elevation requires separation. And sometimes the people you love the most are tied to the version of you God is asking you to outgrow. Being set apart is lonely because destiny is not a group project, it's a covenant. You weren't anointed to blend in. You were anointed to break cycles, to carry burdens others pretend don't exist, to weep over what doesn't move them, and to war for people who don't even know they're in chains. You feel deeply because you're wired for intercession, and while others run from the fire, you've been trained to walk through it, because Isaiah 43:2 says the flames won't consume you. This is your confirmation that what's been shaking in your life isn't falling apart, it's falling into alignment. God is stripping everything that can't go with you, because where you're going requires clarity, not clutter. You can't carry your cross and your comfort at the same time, and the sooner you stop fighting the pruning, the sooner you'll see the fruit. You've been marked, not for popularity, but for purpose, not for applause, but for authority. And if it feels like everything around you is drying up, it's because God is forcing you to drink from a deeper well. Stop looking for validation in places God called you out of. If you were meant to fit in, He would have left you there. But He didn't. And that alone should tell you everything. The separation you're mourning is the protection you'll one day thank Him for. So don't shrink. Don't apologize for being set apart. Carry it like a mantle, not a mistake. You are the answer to a prayer someone else is too broken to pray. And your obedience could be the very thing that unlocks freedom for a generation. God isn't finished. He's just getting started, and he's doing it through you.